Welcome to the ACSA Campus Tour, where every week we take you to another part of the state and talk with a district administrator about the successes and challenges they are experiencing during this COVID-19 pandemic and how they are working towards the start of the school year. Joining us today, the principal from Ethel Phillips Elementary School in the Sacramento City Unified School District, Daniel Hernandez. Daniel, thanks so much for being with us today.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Hey, let me ask you, the first day of school is coming up, just a matter of weeks. I wanted to ask about the biggest challenge that you and your staff have faced and will be facing as we work towards the start of the school year.
I think like most, it revolves around engagement. First, getting kids to engage by getting online. Secondly, once they're online, to what extent are we considering engagement? And then, of course, part of that has to do with our tech needs and our ability to get online. First a device, or first Wi-Fi, then a device, and then the ability of the parent and the student to be able to log in and log out and do the things that we can actually see are engaging. But we also want to make sure that kids and families are okay, socially, emotionally healthy. So those are our big challenges.
You talked about engagement, and I want to ask you about your strategy in connecting with your students, your teachers, your staff, your families, keeping that engagement going. What has been your strategy throughout the number of months that campuses have been closed? And then as you start the new school year, are you going to be able to keep that same strategy, or are you going to have to pivot?
Good question. We're probably going to have to pivot as everything is up in the air. I believe that we've been lucky here. There are 5 schools in our district that are piloting a summer school program along with the city of Sacramento, a group of community-based organizations. And so we have started to have classrooms with the classroom teacher and then a program leader from the community-based organizations that are able to kind of co-conduct classes. So we have a teacher whose focus is instruction and engaging and talking to students and getting them to be awake of all things and to listen and to participate. And then we have someone else who can do the logging in and the technological piece, and then actually sometimes make phone calls and say, are you having problems with your technology? Are you awake? Are you there? It is summer school, so it's voluntary, so our numbers are not the same as they would be in the school year. But it at least gives me a good idea as to what questions to ask when we start the year. What teachers can do. Can they conduct the classroom? Can they check on students? Can they also conduct the technological needs that need to be done during a class and follow up? That's a lot to ask, but we know there are these different layers, and we're trying to get other people to be part of those other components.
Let me ask you about expectations. You and your staff have had the opportunity over these many months to determine the successes and challenges, to assess the successes and challenges since the spring shutdown of schools. Are the expectations more for you as an educator, as a school leader, and for your staff as you head into this new school year? And do you anticipate that the families and the students and the teachers have a higher level of expectations and that things are going to run smoothly as we move towards and through the start of the school year?
Well, I'm not sure what the family expectation is. I believe that there is definitely an increased expectation on all of our educators here. When we finished the year off, we were really in emergency mode, trying to just cover a giant hole with a couple of Band-Aids. And in some cases, teachers took the charge and were able to get kids online and were able to keep them engaged and were able to kind of have that relationship that was well established continue to flow. And that's, luckily many of our schools, many of our classroom teachers have those great community organizations or communities already developed in their classrooms. And those relationships make everything else work out. The expectation moving into a school year where we're going to have new teachers with new students, it's still, we're not clear as to what we expect because we're not clear on how we're going to do it. We're trying to finalize the number of minutes, number of hours that we're going to be in, synchronous or in synchronous classrooms and then asynchronous teaching, whether it's videos or work being completed. All those different things are up in the air. But I believe my staff in particular has really high expectations of themselves, and therefore our families are expecting a lot, especially when they have multiple students in our campus. They see one example of somebody having high expectations, they expect it to be across the board. And we definitely do expect more out of ourselves. And we also have to know that in all these cases, myself, teachers, students, families are taking a little bit of, giving us a little grace to be able to kind of handle the situation and know that there's some obstacles, but we're not settling, which sometimes gives us more work to do. It is going to be something that it's a learning curve, and we have a lot of support systems in place. We just don't know exactly what to ask of all the support systems yet as we move forward.
Daniel Hernandez is the principal over at Ethel Phillips Elementary School in the Sacramento City Unified School District. Daniel, thanks so much for being with us today.
Stay safe out there.
You as well. Thank you. And thank you so much, folks, for joining us here on the ACSA Campus Tour. Remember, every week we take you to another part of the state and talk about the successes and challenges through this COVID-19 pandemic and what district leaders are doing to prepare to safely reopen schools. That comes your way every week here on the ACSA Campus Tour.